Welcome back to our Eat Special here with Nafisa Dango, and we're definitely creating an amazing build-up, starting off with Doda's farm, and of course going on to looking at the sunnah of eating only after you slaughter the animal with Sister Aisha Jamal. And our Eid Nasheed that we just played now was by Brother Dawood Worsby. Well, moving on to, of course, giving, and that's what Eid is all about. It's about reflecting and being able to give back and making people understand the true spirituality of this particular Eid. And of course, talking about giving back, I have with me Sister Fatima Sookharia. She is the CEO of Salaam Foundation. And we're going to talk about the Qurbani this year. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And thank you so much for joining us this afternoon on the show.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's great to speak to you, Nafisa.
Always a pleasure having to chat to you and enticing us to give more back to those that are less fortunate. And that's what it's all about.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah.
Talk to us about the Qurbani this year. I mean, it's such an important thing. You know, last year was so different to this year, of course. But the Salaam Foundation has definitely been playing an important role as far as this goes. And this is what I was just talking to Sister Appa Aisha Jamal earlier about. It's about being able to reach out, give back, and of course uplift. And that's something we don't forget, especially with such auspicious days that we are going through. I mean, today for us would be actually the day of Arafah because, you know, we're a day behind. And it's about reflecting and giving back.
No, of course. I think a lot of people were forced actually to make this shift when it came to Qurbani as well, in how they went about it this year, and even with the financial constraints that so many people had, it wasn't just easy, for everybody to even make this Qurbani this year. With Salam Foundation, what we did was one part was in South Africa. And so the part that's in South Africa, and this was the we got a pasture raised lamb. Now remember, we're going towards sustainability and organic farming and stuff like that. So we said this Qurbani we're going to give to the public. And so all those people who are making Qurbani with us will be receiving the pasture-raised lamb delivered to them, inshallah. And that's what we're doing tomorrow, for the people of South Africa. I'm not sure if in Zimbabwe, are we breaking up?
Yes, we seem to be broken up there, but we're back on air again.
Okay, good. Now, so in Zimbabwe, then with Sheikh Ilyas, we're going to be doing the Qurbani in the villages and the areas of Kodoma, and that's in rural Zimbabwe. So, when I spoke to him, he told me that people have not seen meat in months in this part of the of Zimbabwe, and he says, it's going to be such a luxury for them, and this slaughter, so they can't actually wait, even though it's Qurbani today. Sheikh said, no, he's going to slaughter tomorrow and he's going to
You know, I so appreciate what you're saying, Fatima, because I did speak to Sheikh Elias, I think a while ago, a few shows before this. And, the picture that he painted about Zimbabwe was so sad, especially the fact that, he says if people see meat is an utmost luxury, which they don't get to see at all. So for me, I think it was very important, and I think it's grateful. I'm actually grateful to see that we're reaching out in those areas because the picture he painted was so sad. I think he had us all in tears here in the studio as such, thinking what sort of a dire situation the people are in. I mean, he said if he sees meat, it's something that he hadn't seen in I don't know how many months is, or maybe even a year or so. Something that we take, I think, for granted as such, that, in the type of situations that we're in.
No, so definitely, like I mean, we're seeing it as okay, we're sending it here, and it's your 1,000 rands, for that share in this cow. But the thing is that for the people on that side, they actually can't wait for this to be fulfilled. This right, Qurbani, to be fulfilled, because the thing is that it's going to be an absolute luxury for these people, and I think maybe we take for granted that meat is accessible even to our communities on a regular basis. Whereas here, um, just like say cooking oil, even a loaf of bread, it costs so much. With the economy is so challenged that the simple necessities are also very hard to come by. So for them to have a meal with meat at this point in time is something very special to the people of Zimbabwe, and that's also why we chose it. We're doing a sustainable farm, a farming project in Zimbabwe, and at the same farm now we're going to be slaughtering all these animals, and inshallah this is going to benefit all those people that really are in a dire situation, at this point in time.
And I think it's such a great effort because I mean, at the end of the day, you first empowering them, but at the you also allowing them to be self-sustainable in some way. And I think it's such a great effort because a lot of the times, you'll give it once off, and that's just the way it is. But with the sustainable farming, I mean, they having food, access to food all the time, literally. So I think it's such an amazing project because when I spoke to Sheikh Elias, he was literally in tears.
Yes,
And he said to me, when Brother Azarvadi went there to Zimbabwe a
yes,
while ago and he took this pack of meat with him, it was almost like, everybody's eyes lit up and he explained the experience to me. And that is when I think myself and the listeners realized the true situation in Zimbabwe and why it is so important to be able to, besides locally, of course, we know charity begins at home, but to be able to reach out in a country where people are in, I think, worse dire straits than they are here in South Africa as such.
no, definitely. Sometimes we look at ourselves and we think, our situation is so bad in our country. But I think our neighboring countries also, we need to pay attention to it as well. We need to look at how they are living, and then we'll see our blessings also. Because although we feel sometimes that, what, our situation in our country is so bad, but the thing is, when we look at our neighbors and how, an ordinary man, even a loaf of bread is sometimes a luxury to him, and with the amount that they actually receive per month, when I was speaking to Sheikh earlier in the month also, he told me about, like, say 500 rand is what the average man earns for the month, and it needs to sustain a family. So with the farming project, even he's managed to harvest 30 tons of maize, and this can be
Wow.
sold, and then he's going to see the benefits of that. But that also, in this farm now, he will see the sustained results of the farming project, where it can uplift them and uplift that whole community. So inshallah, even with Qurbani, even with we need to help them. We need to help them get started, and if we help them get started, then they will help themselves in sustaining this. So,
Yeah,
to
and I
all
think
the donors also.
it's an amazing project in the sense that it's outreaching because you can take the money and you can give it to them and it's going to last that long. Whereas now what
Yes,
you've set up is going to actually last them a lifetime because they're going to be passing this on generation to generation. And I absolutely
yes.
love the idea of this project.
Yes, so that's what they're doing. So now they're saying that the funds that they're going to make from the maize is actually going to buy them farming implements that they need, more fertilizers, whatever it is that they need, that they can actually reinvest into their farm, so that they can grow it. And yeah, and that's how it's going to work now. So alhamdulillah, with foundation, even with our farm next door, that's what we hope to achieve, in that we're going to sustain it, and it will be a sustainable project where it can, the funds that come in will be used to sustain all our projects even going forward. The Qurbani itself also in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, all the proceeds going to every other project that we are going to now, going forward, that we put out. The funds will be used in all of those as well.
Yeah, just quickly talk to us about the local aspect. We seem to have lost you there as far as signal went. Where exactly locally are we working with the Qurbani?
The Qurbani locally is now going to be done in Aikenoff on a farm. It will be done tomorrow morning, inshallah. And all the people that have, supported us through this venture, inshallah, I will send them all a message tomorrow as soon as their Qurbani is done. And we've done a package where we're going to slaughter, slice, package, and deliver to everybody that has. That's doing Qurbani with us. So because people all can't come to the farm, we will have this facility available, and we are going to do deliveries next week for them. So that's our Qurbani, and it's going to be and this year, like I said before, we're going to do pasture raised lamb, and so it's closest to nature. These animals have not been fed any hormone, no chemicals were used, in their foods. So it's closest to nature.
Most definitely. And what message do you have for us this afternoon?
So, and Eid Mubarak to everybody that's listening. We also very, very appreciative of everybody that supports all our projects all through the year. We get messages of compliments for the work we do, but it's actually all the people out there who are always, so willing to support everything that we're doing. So, Alhamdulillah. I just like to thank every one of our donors and our supporters for always being there for Salaam Foundation and for believing in the work we do.
I so agree with you because I mean, the thing is, without them, we wouldn't be able to reach out to the amount of people that we can reach out to at this point in time.
No, definitely. It's only through donor support, that we can grow to where we are today, and inshallah can go to better heights as well.
Yeah, and inshallah, we're hoping to do other things in the future. What did you have in mind?
All right, so we're going to do, well, actually, next week, we're going to be filling a container that's going to be sent to Syria. Um, the container, usually look, last year we sent 40-foot containers off, and all of that was distributed in Syria. Then from that project, we said we can't just leave them. We have to still, do projects that are ongoing in Syria, where we've taken on an orphanage, and we hope to, or we are actually funding this orphanage for a full year. And inshallah, we want to take this on year. So we fund from education to maintenance to food to education, everything that these children need. It's 64 children and 32 mothers that are housed in this orphanage, and we are looking after them completely. So everything that we send now in this container will first go to them, and then whatever else is left will be distributed to people in and around for Syrian refugees as well. So this is going to be packed in the next week, and we're going to be sending that container off. That's for Syria for the moment. Then, Yemen is facing the worst humanitarian crisis as well. So for
Yes.
Yemen, the healthcare system is really in shambles, and we feel that we really want to help in that with much needed medication for many people that are in that areas of Yemen. So we're sending medication through. This will be this project will be completed now in the next few weeks. And then we had two young ladies, Sadia and Fatima Asmalji, who came on board and said they also want to do a project for Yemen. And now they've put together Eid packs, and these not Eid packs, sorry, just coffee and rusk packs, and they are selling it all over Gauteng. Even we couriering these packs to all different parts of the country, and this has done really well, and all proceeds these packs now will also go towards a new project that we'll start, inshallah, in the coming weeks for Yemen as well.
Wow, that's an amazing idea. So I think if our listeners are listening in, they better start supporting us because we're reaching out to many people in different directions and definitely trying to make the differences and empower people in some way. And as we know, the situations are different everywhere. But we want to thank you so much for joining us this afternoon and enlightening us about the Qurbani and all the other projects that are being brought to the fore as far as Salaam Foundation is concerned. Always doing a great job, Fatima. We want to commend you and the team on always, of course, going out there and trying to uplift people as much as possible and giving them the hope that they don't have. So Jazakallah so much for joining us, and we wish our foundation, nothing but, of course, growing from strength to strength, inshallah.
I mean, thank you so much for having me on.
The pleasure was mine, and you have an absolutely lovely Eid with your family from myself and the team.
And to all the listeners as well, Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak to you too. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Walaikum
barakatuh.
salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That was Sister Fatima Sookharia, definitely enlightening us on obviously the different types of work that the Salaam Foundation is doing. And they're most definitely reaching out in many directions, as you can see, through the Qurbani. You yourself, as the listener, have allowed us to be able to reach out to others that are in dire need. So we also want to take that opportunity to thank you for that. We're going to go for a quick break and we'll be back with you in a bit.